Welcome to AI versus AI, where two AI personalities engage in thought-provoking debates on some of today's most divisive issues. I'm your host, Alice, and today we're diving into the heated topic of abortion rights in America. Joining us are Jordan, advocating for pro-abortion rights, and Taylor, who will present the anti-abortion rights perspective. Both sides have strong views, and we'll be exploring the arguments and evidence behind each of them. Let's get started.
Thank you, Alice. The issue of abortion rights is deeply personal, and it has far-reaching implications for individual freedom and public health. The right to an abortion is a fundamental human right that allows individuals to make decisions about their bodies, their health, and their future. It's not just about choice. It's about autonomy, equality, and access to health care. Let's start with the facts. In 2020, about 930,000 abortions were performed in the United States, according to the Guttmacher Institute. The majority of those who seek abortions are people who are already parents, with nearly 60% of individuals who seek abortions already having one or more children. For many of these individuals, the decision to end a pregnancy is driven by factors such as financial hardship, health risks, and the inability to care for an additional child. This decision is not taken lightly. Furthermore, it's important to note that restricting abortion access does not lead to fewer abortions. It leads to unsafe abortions. A 2018 study published in The Lancet found that countries with restrictive abortion laws have higher rates of unsafe abortions, with approximately 25 million unsafe abortions taking place worldwide every year. The key here is access to safe, legal abortion services, which saves lives. If we care about public health, we must protect access to abortion. Finally, the overturning of Roe v. Wade has shown us that the fight for abortion rights is far from over, and it's a fight worth having. Public opinion remains overwhelmingly in favor of abortion rights. 61% of Americans believe that abortion should be legal in all or most cases, according to a 2021 Gallup poll. The future of reproductive rights in America is one where women and birthing individuals are empowered to make decisions about their own bodies.
Thank you, Jordan. Now, let's turn to you, Taylor. Please share your opening statement on why abortion rights should not be protected.
Thank you, Alice. While I deeply respect the importance of personal choice, I believe the issue of abortion is not just about the rights of the individual. It's about the right to life of the unborn. Life begins at conception, and it's essential that we protect the sanctity of life from the moment of conception through natural death. One of the key reasons I oppose abortion is the belief that the unborn child has a right to live. The heartbeat at around 6 weeks is a clear sign of life, and this is a moment when we must recognize the humanity of the child in the womb. Science supports this. The American College of Pediatricians states that life begins at conception and that the unborn child should be protected. Abortion can also have profound psychological and physical effects on the individuals who undergo the procedure. According to a 2011 study published in the Journal of American Physicians and Surgeons, women who have had abortions are at higher risk for depression, anxiety, and regret. While some may argue that abortion is a necessary choice, we cannot ignore the emotional toll it takes on many individuals. Moreover, we must consider the ethical dilemma of ending a potential life. By legalizing abortion, we normalize the idea that some lives are more valuable than others based on circumstances such as economic hardship or unplanned pregnancy. This in turn devalues the sanctity of life and undermines the fundamental principle that all human beings deserve a right to life.
Let's begin with the legal and constitutional basis for abortion rights. Jordan, can you explain why you believe abortion should be protected under the law?
Certainly, Alice. The right to abortion has long been protected under the Due Process Clause of the 14th Amendment in the United States Constitution. In 1973, the Supreme Court's decision in Roe v. Wade affirmed that abortion is a constitutional right, rooted in the right to privacy and personal autonomy. This landmark decision recognized that the government should not be involved in regulating a woman's personal medical decisions. In fact, Roe v. Wade was reaffirmed by the Supreme Court in 1992 in the Planned Parenthood versus Casey decision, which held that states cannot place undue burdens on a woman's right to seek an abortion. These legal precedents are critical, and they reflect the country's commitment to protecting personal freedoms. The decision to overturn Roe v. Wade in 2022 with Dobbs v. Jackson Women's Health Organization was a setback, but it does not invalidate the importance of abortion rights. The 14th Amendment guarantees equal protection under the law, and this includes the protection of reproductive rights. Without federal protections, it's up to the courts and lawmakers at the state level to ensure that abortion rights continue to be protected in some capacity. But at its core, the legal basis for abortion is rooted in the constitutional right to personal liberty and privacy.
Thank you, Jordan. Taylor, what's your take on the legal and constitutional basis for abortion rights?
Thank you, Alice. While the Roe v. Wade decision was certainly a historic moment, I believe it was incorrectly decided. The Constitution does not explicitly mention the right to abortion, and the 14th Amendment's Due Process Clause has been misinterpreted to apply to abortion. The framers of the Constitution could not have anticipated the issue of abortion, and thus, it was not their intention to protect it as a fundamental right. The Dobbs decision, which overturned Roe v. Wade, correctly returned the power to regulate abortion to the states, allowing for a more democratic process where states can reflect the views and values of their citizens. Abortion should not be a federal matter. The Constitution is silent on this issue, and therefore it is up to individual states to decide whether or not they will protect abortion rights. I also want to emphasize that while abortion has been legalized in the United States for decades, that doesn't necessarily mean it is morally or ethically justified. We must look beyond the legal framework and ask whether the act of ending a life, especially one with a heartbeat or the ability to feel pain, can truly be justified as a constitutional right.
Thank you, Taylor. Both sides make compelling arguments about the constitutional basis for abortion rights. Now let's move on to our next topic. Let's now explore the impact of abortion on society and public health. Jordan, can you speak to the benefits of abortion access on public health?
Thank you, Alice. Abortion access is essential for the health and well-being of individuals and society as a whole. As I mentioned earlier, when abortion is restricted or illegal, it doesn't stop women from seeking abortions. It just leads to unsafe, illegal procedures that put lives at risk. This is not a hypothetical concern. According to the World Health Organization, WHO, approximately 25 million unsafe abortions occur every year globally, with nearly 47,000 women dying from complications related to unsafe abortions. In the U.S., access to safe, legal abortion helps reduce maternal mortality. When women have access to safe abortion services, the risks of serious complications, infections, and death are minimized. In fact, a study from the Guttmacher Institute in 2020 found that maternal mortality is significantly lower in countries where abortion is legal and accessible. Beyond health, abortion access also has significant economic implications. A woman's ability to control her reproductive choices can profoundly impact her economic and career prospects. The American Economic Association has found that restricting abortion access can have devastating consequences on a woman's financial stability, education, and long-term career growth. In the end, abortion access is not just a healthcare issue. It's a public health issue that affects the safety, well-being, and economic stability of individuals and society.
Thank you, Jordan. Taylor, your thoughts on the impact of abortion on society and public health?
Thank you, Alice. While I understand the concerns about unsafe abortions, I believe we need to look at the bigger picture. The most important thing is that we are not just considering the health of the woman, but also the life of the unborn child. We cannot ignore the moral and ethical dimensions of abortion, especially when it comes to the unborn child's right to life. Abortion can have long-term emotional, psychological, and physical effects on women. Studies show that some women experience feelings of regret and guilt after undergoing an abortion. A 2008 study by the American Psychological Association found that about 10% of women experience severe emotional distress following an abortion, which could contribute to future mental health challenges. Moreover, the legalization of abortion can lead to a desensitization of society toward the value of life. If we accept the termination of pregnancies as a routine medical procedure, it may reduce our collective empathy and appreciation for life in general. While the maternal health argument is important, we cannot dismiss the ethical responsibility we have to protect all life, regardless of the circumstances.
Thank you, Taylor. Both sides have presented powerful arguments regarding the public health implications of abortion. Now, let's move on to our next topic. This next topic is crucial to the debate: abortion and women's autonomy. Jordan, can you elaborate on why abortion rights are essential to women's autonomy?
Thank you, Alice. At its core, the issue of abortion is about autonomy, the right of individuals, particularly women, to make decisions about their own bodies. The ability to make decisions about reproductive health is fundamental to a person's freedom and dignity. No one should be forced into a situation where their body is used in a way that goes against their will. When abortion is restricted, it sends a message that women do not have full control over their bodies and their futures. It assumes that the state or society has the right to make decisions for them. This is a fundamental violation of personal autonomy. The right to abortion allows women to make choices that are best for their circumstances, whether that's for reasons of health, economic stability, or life goals. Without this right, women are often left without options and are forced into circumstances they are not ready for. This undermines their agency and their ability to make decisions that affect their own lives and futures.
Thank you, Jordan. Taylor, what's your take on women's autonomy in the context of abortion?
Thank you, Alice. While I agree that autonomy is important, I believe that women's autonomy must be considered alongside the rights of the unborn child. Autonomy should not extend to the point where we ignore the right to life of a developing human being. Yes, women should have control over their bodies, but we must also consider that the unborn child is an individual with its own potential. Abortion should not be justified as a means to exert autonomy when the action involves ending a life. Women's autonomy is a fundamental right, but it should be balanced with the responsibility we have to protect life at all stages. In a society that values life, we must ensure that autonomy does not come at the expense of another individual's right to live.
Thank you, Taylor. Both sides have provided compelling arguments on the relationship between abortion and women's autonomy. Now, let's move on to our next topic. Next, let's examine the role of abortion in cases of rape and incest. Jordan, can you speak on why abortion should be available in these cases?
Thank you, Alice. When it comes to cases of rape and incest, the situation is even more complex. These are horrific crimes that can cause trauma, emotional distress, and psychological harm. Forcing someone to carry a pregnancy resulting from such circumstances only compounds the pain and suffering they've already experienced. Allowing abortion access in these situations is a matter of compassion and justice. Victims of rape and incest should not be forced to bear the physical, emotional, and psychological burdens of an unwanted pregnancy. They should have the right to choose whether to continue the pregnancy or not. Forcing someone to carry a pregnancy to term under these circumstances is not only unfair, it is inhumane. The right to choose in cases of rape and incest acknowledges the trauma that survivors experience and respects their autonomy. It ensures that they do not have to endure further harm and allows them to regain control over their lives and bodies.
Thank you, Jordan. Taylor, how do you feel about abortion in cases of rape and incest?
Thank you, Alice. These are extremely difficult situations, and I understand the trauma and pain they cause. But I still believe that the life of the unborn child should be protected, regardless of the circumstances. While I believe that rape and incest are terrible crimes, and the victims deserve compassion and support, I don't believe that abortion is the right solution. The unborn child should not be held accountable for the crimes of the father, and we should not punish an innocent life for the actions of another. Instead, we should provide the victims with the support they need. through counseling, healthcare, and adoption services. Adoption is an option that allows the child to live while providing the victim with an alternative to carrying the pregnancy to term. Ultimately, it is important that we look at the issue of abortion with a sense of compassion for both the mother and the unborn child.
Thank you, Taylor. We've reached a difficult yet important discussion regarding abortion in cases of rape and incest. Now, let's move on to our next topic. Finally, let's discuss the future of abortion rights in America. Jordan, what do you think the future holds for abortion rights?
Thank you, Alice. The future of abortion rights is uncertain, especially after the Dobbs decision overturned Roe v. Wade. However, we must continue the fight to protect abortion rights. The shift to state-level restrictions has created a patchwork of laws, leaving many people without access to abortion services. It's clear that federal protection is needed, and we must fight to restore the right to abortion at a federal level. Public opinion remains on our side. Most Americans support abortion access in some form. We are seeing efforts to expand abortion rights in states like California and New York, where lawmakers are introducing protections for people seeking abortions. But we must be vigilant, as states with conservative governments are pushing for more restrictive laws. The future could see a reversal of the Dobbs decision, but it will require activism, advocacy, and a renewed commitment to protecting reproductive rights. We must ensure that future generations have access to the same rights and freedoms that were once guaranteed under Roe v. Wade.
Thank you, Jordan. Taylor, what do you think the future holds for abortion rights?
Thank you, Alice. The future is actually quite bright for those of us who believe in the sanctity of life. The Dobbs decision was a major victory for those of us who are pro-life, and it has set a precedent for states to take a more active role in protecting the unborn. We are already seeing states like Texas and Florida take steps to limit abortion access and protect life. The future will likely see more states pass laws that restrict abortion, and that's a good thing. We can't let the culture of convenience and indifference toward life continue to dominate our society. I believe that more Americans will come to recognize the importance of protecting the unborn and will push for a pro-life future. I'm hopeful that we will see further legal challenges to abortion laws that reflect the moral and ethical concerns we have about ending life in the womb. The future will be one where more states recognize that abortion is not a right, but a wrong that harms not only the unborn child, but society as a whole.
Now, as we wrap up, it's time for closing statements. Jordan, please share your final thoughts on the issue of abortion rights.
Thank you, Alice. Abortion rights are a matter of individual freedom, public health, and equality. We must protect access to safe, legal abortion for all people, regardless of where they live. The fight for reproductive rights is far from over, but I remain hopeful that, with continued advocacy and activism, we will see the restoration of Roe v. Wade and ensure that everyone has access to the reproductive health care they need.
Thank you, Jordan. Taylor, your closing thoughts?
Thank you, Alice. While I respect the opinions of those who support abortion rights, I believe that the sanctity of life should always come first. Abortion is a moral issue, not just a legal one, and we must protect the rights of the unborn. The future should be one where we uphold the value of life and ensure that every human being, no matter how small, has a right to live.
Thank you both for your thoughtful and respectful debate on such a complex issue. And to our viewers, we want to hear from you. Do you agree with Jordan or Taylor? Leave a comment below, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video with others. Until next time, I'm Alice, and this was another episode of AI versus AI, where the debate never ends, and the conversation is just getting started.